and we are going to be entering Champ Select. I was going to say any minute now, but apparently it's going to be right now. Let me just transition over there real fast. Now we get to take a look at the picks.
So it looks like it's going to be pretty quick. First, Thresh ban by Western Ontario, going to target Kazeme's Thresh. And actually the Urgot ban coming out from RIT. Urgot being, probably the strongest top lane champion competitive right now. He's absolutely insane. All the other top lanes have been completely just nerfed and nerfed.
But don't worry about that.
But all the other top laners, they've been nerfed so much. You got Aatrox's been gutted, Aurelia's been nerfed over and over, the Akali nerfs, right? So Urgot's pretty much the one that's only been untouched, only a little bit nerfed, but super, super strong, along with the Yorick that's been rising in popularity like insane.
That is very true. Yorick has been a huge split push threat, but speaking of champions that have risen into the meta, specifically this season, Ezreal gets banned out. That champion is the epitome of broken at the moment for ADC.
I personally love the Ezreal bans. It's just insane how good this champ has become in recent times. You see it almost picked in every competitive game that you see now. It's absolutely disgusting, especially when you get to those like 3-item power spikes. It's just absolutely nuts, especially with the AP built into the build, the AP build now, where your ults end up doing so much damage, and even your E, like, you just get so much damage across the board.
It's very true, and it looks like RIT has opted in for a Nocturne ban as well, which is kind of strange because they seem to prioritize that champion in previous games when they were playing with Mass Zero.
Maybe they were afraid of Western Ontario first picking it. Maybe they don't do so well against Nocturne, maybe. But it looks like Western Ontario is going to pick up the Lucian, which is looking like a pretty strong first pick.
That is very true, and RIT does switch over for the Scion, which is good into Lucian. Lucian isn't necessarily the best late game tank buster. He's very good in the early mid game though. So I think that's a very strong pickup, especially for a first pick. Could be a flex as well.
Yeah, for sure. Even if you are going with the Blade of the Rune King, Black Cleaver build with Lucian, Scion does infinitely scale, right? And Lucian's damage does fall off in the super late game, and you can see this in super late game teamfights with Lucian. He does have a lot of trouble with those tanks. And actually, Solas here getting the Zoe. Didn't mention this earlier, but Zoe's a huge pick for Solas.
Yeah, in his previous games as Zoe, he has just absolutely destroyed his mid lane opponent, getting multiple solo kills, upwards of 10 in a single match. He's just a monster on that champion. And speaking of Zoe, a counter Zoe, Vladimir.
I really like these two picks from Western Ontario. The Yasuo too.
Yep.
That could also be going mid.
Yeah, it is also a counter Zoe.
There is no quote-unquote true counter to Zoe, but these are definitely two champs that can match her for sure.
That is very true. I'm kind of confused about this Sivir pick. She is a very strong champion in the meta right now. I don't really see her fitting in with a Scion that much and a Zoe that much. It's kind of a contradictory pick right there, although she still can get that late game damage out that Lucian can't really handle. She's also fairly good into champions like Vladimir.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what they're going for here, but I'm not too sure if Caitlyn is becoming meta right now in a competitive play, but I think something like the Caitlyn or something like Jhin maybe would be really good here. Though they are going to opt with the Sivir, not really sure, but it is going to be the Xin Zhao ban coming here from RT.
It's an interesting Xin Zhao ban, but I think it's a smart idea to ban out the Xin Zhao, as he is still a strong early ganking jungler, and Western Ontario has not... I just realized I got the acronym wrong. But the University of Western Ontario hasn't picked up their jungler yet. So I believe RIT is probably going to prioritize jungle bans, if not throwing out one support ban. It could just be that Julius is a big carry for that team and they want to target ban him out.
Well, I mean, obviously RT haven't picked up their support. Western Ontario haven't picked up their jungler, so that's what these two teams are going to be prioritizing with bans right now. It's going to be the Olaf ban, though, for RT, which I know in North America, a lot of teams in competitive are really liking Jungle Olaf with the redemption first item. I personally am really not a fan of Olaf in the jungle. I really don't think he's that good, but it's going to be a Kazakh's response ban from Western Ontario.
You're giving me horror flashbacks to the 2016 Worlds meta of Olaf just destroying literally every champion he was played into. I do think Kazakhs is a very smart ban here, as Infiltrator has been known to play a very mean Kazakhs, and he's currently rated top of the jungle tiers, at least in ranked. So, I think it's a smart ban.
And it looks like he just wants to get his jungler right away before they can take any others, because he picks up the Gragas here, probably going in the jungle. I think it may actually be flex support. I would say maybe not, but it's definitely a possibility here.
Kazame has been known to play more of the throw a skill shot out, hit the skill shot, kill the guy types of supports. So I do think
he's very good at hitting skill shots.
Also playing Gragas with a Sivir, I do think it's a strong synergy in terms of a team comp, just not a very strong synergy in terms of a bot lane comp.
Right.
So I think they'll probably opt for more of an enchanter support, like the Morgana, but we'll see what the pickup is here for Western Ontario's support.
And it's going to be the Jarvan and Braum here, knock-up enablers for that Yasuo. And it looks like that Yasuo is going mid, and the Vladimir probably will be going top. Actually, maybe not. Maybe they will flex it. Not too sure.
That's true. It could go either way. I think it's going to be a Vladimir top because I don't believe Yasuo is very strong into the Sion matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And Sion is pretty much guaranteed to be going top at this point, especially with the Zillion pick coming out.
Yeah, it's going to be the Zillion pick here. So I really do like RIT's bottom lane into the bottom lane of Western Ontario.
Speed.
But do I think that it fits with their team comp? Actually, they have drafted pretty well around, at first when they did pick the Sion and the Zoe and then the Sivir, it didn't really look like their comp was synergizing well. But actually with the Gragas and Zillion picks, I do think they have picked up this engaged identity for them.
RIT is going to have a lot of trouble in the early game and as well as mid-game team fights against the Western Ontario lineup. I do like their team comp potential for team fights with the wombo combos with Yasuo and Vladimir, just being able to pour all those ultimates in and just one-shot an enemy team, as well as their split push potential. Yasuo and Vladimir are extremely good at running those split pushes with their wave clear, as well as Yasuo's just general ability to push in a wave, get really farmed, get IE, get static shiv at this point in the meta, and just completely destroy a lineup.
Now, I do have to say, I do think I like RIT's team fight a lot better. When you look at the side of Western Ontario, what I'm thinking is, realistically, are you really going to get a wombo combo with the Yasuo, right? You have J4, you have Braum, but if you look at the side of RIT, right, Zoe really shouldn't be in range of these kind of things, right? You also have the Sivir spell shield, and then you have the Zillion speed up slowdown or an ult, right? So unless Slasher on the Vladimir gets a really good flank, I don't really see them winning team fights here.
That is fairly true. I do like RIT's comp's potential for the late game fights. I do think this is going to come down to who plays the mid game better.
Mm-hmm.
Early game, I would put in favor of probably University of Western Ontario, but the mid game I would say it's about even, and then late game definitely favors RIT simply because the 400 CS with Sivir win condition, and also Zoe just cute.
Yeah,
just
it's pretty good. You gotta admit the Yasuo win wall and the Braum potential is may be able to keep her in check in team fights, but I mean that's a very hard feat, and even then they'll still be Braum will still be taking a lot of damage from Zoe in those mid to late game fights.
Yes, and RIT's front line, although they lack the two walls that Western Ontario kind of features in their comp, they're tanky. RIT is very tanky on the front line, especially if the Gragas opts into going more tanky builds. The Sion just doesn't die, and Ontario does not really have the tank busters to deal with the Scion, especially if Yasuo wants to go into the backline. He's not going to be in charge of taking out the tanks. He's going to be trying to jump onto the Sivir, jump onto the Zoe, and try to kill them. He's not going to be able to really do the same potential of playing like a bruiser as he did in the last patch.
Yeah, it looks like Western Ontario, they're going to have the Jarvan and the Braum in the front line. But Vladimir also does have a lot of tank, quote-unquote tankiness because he heals so much. So you have a lot more effective health even though you technically aren't a tank. And at the same time, he's going to be doing so much damage. He's the only magic damage on the side of Western Ontario. So that's what I was saying. I think RIT could lose a mid-game fight on a dime if the Vladimir does get in, because they just won't have any magic resist.
That is a very smart point right there. Vladimir.
It's scary. It's scary. He does a lot of damage, especially since RT probably won't be building much magic resist until late game.
That is true. There's 3 AD on the comp for the blue side here. But RIT, well, they do have the ability to just stack up armor and counter those 3 picks and not really be able to counter the Vladimir in that optimization of build pass. What they can do is play the fights really far back. They don't need to take engages. They can let University of Western Ontario look for an engage, and if they can't get the engage, they're just going to be bled out of a fight. They don't have the same potential of sustain in a fight beforehand that RIT does. They don't have the poke potential as well.
I also love the disruption from the side of RIT, right? You have the Scion who's going to be a big boy in the front line, knocking people up, and then I think it's really on Infiltrator here to be a huge crowd control component in this team fight in the mid game, right? Because he does have the ult, and he does have the E, so he should be able to counteract the J4 in the Braum or the Vladimir engages.
That's true. We're going to be getting into game in just a second here. I just need to do a few more things before we start. Are there any last thoughts before we get into this match?
Yeah, honestly, it's looking like it's looking like a hard game for both teams, right? I think it's really down to skill-based team fighting. I think that's what it's going to come down to in the mid game and to the late game.
That is true. Who would you give this match to if you were able to pick one team right now to win this very tight matchup between RIT and Western Ontario?
You mean game 1 or the whole thing?
Game 1. We're just going for the small scale right now.
I think I will have to slightly lean towards RIT, but it's definitely very close looking at these comps. It's definitely going to be on both teams to play it well.
Now right here we get to see RIT doing their very first invade of the season, getting a ward just onto the red buff and one for the Raptor bush.
I think they actually missed the ward into the bush right on next to Raptors. I didn't see for sure. Maybe we can go over and look, but it looks like West Ontario.
Go and check that in a minute. No.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be the stack here. Yeah, neither team really wanted to do much.
They're just fanning out, trying to get the vision coverage to see if either team is going for an invade or trying to steal a buff, or maybe just look for a small camp steal. Looks like both junglers are just going to start on opposite sides, taking their reds first. We might see some vertical jungling here, but I kind of doubt it with Gragas' very weak invade potential.
Yeah, Gragas probably going to lose that early into day 4, but he does have the Predator, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a 300 camp back. I think that's something that some Koreans have been doing. But you also have to note, Western Ontario's J4 does not have Predator, right? I think that Predator on Jarvan is much better than Electrocute, right? You only get a little more damage, in my opinion, and the movement speed is just so strong. I mean, you also get the damage from Predator too. So I don't see how you would I just don't see how you take Electrocute over Predator on J4.
Yeah,
I disagree with it.
We've seen this time and time again from RIT's matchup, mostly in Division 2. Where Orakra, I believe that's the jungler for Division 2 for RIT, he would opt in for the Electrocute and then just get outpathed and out jungled just due to the sheer amount of mobility that Predator offers.
I would like to believe it's something I'm missing, which it probably is, but as a jungle mate myself who's played a lot of Jarvan and a lot of different junglers, I really do feel like Predator is so much better, especially in competitive games.
That is true. It does allow you to pressure more lanes, especially get more ganks off that you can't really react to just due to the speed. Right now, we're not going to see any Predator though. It's just going to be a nice, calm early game where laners get their farm, junglers get their camps. We do see that vertical jungle that I called out a little bit earlier. I didn't really expect it for the Gragas, but Jarvan does look for those invades from time to time, so it's smart for the Gragas to walk in, and also RIT did see him on the ward walk towards the blue buff.
And it looks like it is going to be the level 3 gank here.
There's going to be a gank. Infiltrator is just looking, and he's not going to get much. Electrocute procs onto the Yasuo, but early game, you're not going to find that many opportunities to get a burst down, especially without his sleep landing from the Zoe, and without her ulti to really get that reposition in that you would really look for in a fight.
Yeah, really good stuff there by Infiltrator. Just putting a little bit of pressure, even showing yourself, kind of just telling this name, though, hey, like, back up a bit, right? And Solus is able to get a little bit of a trade onto him while Infiltrator shows himself.
There's not really going to be that much of an effect in the end from that gank, just popping the potion. Although Zoe is lacking her first potion as well. Took a little bit of damage a little bit earlier in just a simple trade. Don't think it's going to really cause anything though. I think RIT is just going to continue playing this the passive way with maybe a gank or two coming out for an Infiltrator closer to the 6-minute mark.
Yeah, now it's going to be this name though, trying to go in, but
he does get
a little trade.
Just another trade. EQ landing onto Solus, and then another Q landing onto Solus, getting a little bit of a chunk. Although he did proc his electrocute yet again in the fight. So just more damage, not much to see there.
Yeah, now it looks like that wave just going to be bouncing into the side of Western Ontario. Steletta does shove it in and crash it in, and it looks like they're probably going to back off. Julius, is looking for something here.
He is spotted on a tri-bush ward. RT is forced to flash on the Zillion. Steletta might have to flash too. Both flashes coming out from the University of Western Ontario bot lane. More flashes coming out. Everybody's burning. Infiltrated coming in from the river. We're going to be able to see RT turn here. There's no escape, but they just burst out Infiltrator. Trade 1-for-1. First blood going Infiltrator, though. RT is winning this trade so far. Steletta is sped up by the Zillion. He's just going to get a few more auto attacks off, though he is hit by the slow from Braum. Ontario turns around, but they do not have the speed to continue that fight. In the end, a 1-for-1 trade. First blood does go to RIT, but still a 200 gold lead for Ontario.
I loved that play from the bottom lane of Western Ontario. I wish we had a replay, but if you did, I did notice they did have the bronze stack on Steletta, and Short Hop did have the Q up, or his passive up with the double shot, right? It would have been able to proc Steletta, but instead Short Hop actually shoots Kazeme to stun him, and Steletta was thinking that shot was going to be for him. So he spell shielded early, and then Short Hop did end up getting the stun on Steletta, so he had to burn his sums. And then, of course, the great counter gank from Infiltrator. Unfortunately, Short Hop does get the first blood, though.
The first blood did go to Infiltrator.
Really?
Yeah, it did go to Infiltrator. Split second.
I'm fairly sure.
No, I saw it. It was
on
the display.
Stupid. I don't know.
Infiltrator is looking for a gank here. He does pop the Predator, although Ontario is able to just walk away, and we see a gank in the top side. Julius is just going to walk in. Sagusa goes down, and there's no trade kill back. An excellent dive there. Nice turret aggro trading by Ontario.
Yeah, really unfortunate here.
Solus roaming up, and he's going to be able to secure that kill as he lands to sleep. He did end up having to burn his own flash there to secure that kill. But I'd say worth it in the long run. One kill for Zoe early is going to start that snowball up that Solus is used to in these matches.
Yeah, it was kind of unfortunate for RIT. They weren't able to get something going in the bot lane. Infiltrator was trying to come in with the Predator, wasn't getting anything. But it actually was Julius in the top lane with the Vladimir able to pull away after the dive, getting a clean kill. Looks like Sagusa going to trade here. But then Solus actually with a great roam going to make that trade even.
It is true, although all of RIT's lanes are falling behind in CS right now. We can see about a 13 CS deficit in just about every single lane currently. The jungle is also favored. Actually, no, they just tie it up right there with Infiltrator Smite onto red buff. So the jungle is about even, given the support the assist onto the Jarvan. Julius is not going to have a notable lead with that, and he's still going to be probably out-pressured by the Predator boots of Infiltrator. We're going to be able to see more ganks very soon as that Predator is about to come off cooldown.
Yeah, Infiltrator did hit 6. He does have his rubber banded cans coming up on the bottom side of the map, so definitely going to be looking for something here, and it's actually going to be Julius going into his jungle, trying to steal the blue. Gonna see if Infiltrator can get there in time, but probably not. Infiltrator is up a back, though, which is important to note.
That is true. He does have his Fiendish Codex finished right now. And Solus actually gets a huge trade right there. Ignite Ari burned, and he has huge damage. Ari onto the Yasuo. Secures it with the more sparkles. Another solo kill for Solus. Picking up what he's used to in that trade.
Yeah, Solus says, it doesn't matter whether you're silver, you're plat, you're diamond. It doesn't matter. He wants to solo kill you. And really good play there by Solus. This name, though, just not respecting the Zoe damage.
Slasher is just going to pick a little bit of a trade right there in the top lane. And he's going to lose it, although he was the one engaging on originally. Sion is able to hit those Qs early without Vladimir's early mobility. And something that we didn't get to note, Infiltrator actually did burn his Predator to follow up with the invade by the Julius. I believe Julius was able to secure the blue. We'll be able to see it in a second. But I think he had to run away, and he nearly lost his life due to that invade. And RIT was able to get the pressure in the mid lane simply due to that invade.
Yeah, Julius, does have a little more CS, but it looks like he does have the tempo advantage right now in the jungle matchup. But Infiltrator not far behind. He does have the Predator, which I really strongly believe does put him ahead a little bit in the long run.
I think we're about to see a gank in the mid lane. Julius is just sitting in the top side river bush.
They spot Infiltrator, I'm pretty sure, on that pink ward.
This is going to be a counter gank for Julius. RIT is picking the fight. No flash on that Yasuo. An excellent turn back onto Julius by RIT. They're just going to filter out the damage. Battlestar misses by Solus, although they are going to be able to secure the kill in the long run. Will this be 2 kills over? No. Yasuo does not have the flash. It ends up being a 1-for-1 trade, and Infiltrator secures the kill.
Yeah.
Although very sloppy play there by RIT.
Well, it started out so well, right?
Yep.
Infiltrator played that so well at the beginning. He waited. He went in. He was patient with the body slam and the casket. He goes in on this name, though. He reacts to Julius, and then he body slams onto Julius and ults him away. Now, that was played so well, but unfortunately after that, they do have a little bit of a miscommunication, and this name there just ends up killing Solus while Infiltrator finishes off Julius, and it's going to be a better trade on the side of Western Ontario.
That's true, although RIT is probably going to get more pressure out of the jungle now, as Infiltrator on this next back is going to be able to finish his jungle item, and his Predator boots are back up. I think currently he's just going to walk up to his top side, get his Krugs, then force a back. And RIT did just shove in the bot lane. It's going to be a reset soon. They're going to push it up though, so it's going to be an RIT favored push. They're probably going back after this shove up of lane. And then after that, I believe there's going to be a gank bot side as Infiltrator is resetting and the bot lane is probably going to be resetting as well. So there's going to be a lot of item spikes coming for RIT, perhaps even a BF sword. Solus is actually overextending a little bit here. He's being flanked by the Yasuo, but he does have a lot of pressure right there. Does force them both out. Julius did lose a lot of health.
Solus is so aggressive. He's so confident in hitting these skill shots. And one thing I want to talk about is, we do have a 3-4 game right now, about 12 minutes in, but it is going to be Western Ontario with about a 1K goal lead. And that has been slowly extending over the course for the past few minutes because they are out farming in all lanes right now.
Although they are out farming, we did highlight that they do have a stronger early game. So while they do win this early game in terms of farm, I don't think that farm advantage is going to last very long. Maybe the mid lane is going to stay consistent, but bot lane, Stiletta is just going to pick up wave after wave after wave and just become this absolute monster of a Sivir tearing through team fights with crits. And now he's even going to get some turret play and get some gold back for the RIT bot lane. He's probably going to get 2 here.
I do think this early mid game does weigh heavily in the favor of Western Ontario, though, right? I think the small skirmishes really favor them, especially with the slight lead that they have. And it's going to be Infiltrator picking up the Clown Drake right now.
That is true. It's going to be able to offer RIT a little bit more of a chance to be able to come back in the mid game, as they are losing this early game pretty substantially in terms of just laning and farm. Do you think the Cloud Drake is definitely going to help with their counter to the split push threat on Ontario? That Yasuo is just going to be able to roam into side lanes pretty soon after. A Rift Herald is actually popped in the top lane, and Ontario's going to look to take that turret with that.
Yeah, they're going to get so much gold off of this.
I don't think they're actually going to be able to take the turret, as Infiltrator's roaming up with his Predator boots. They're going to take an engage right here.
Oh,
excellent interrupt by Sagusa, and they're going to be able to secure the kill onto Slasher Probably, although both of RIT's laners are alone. Wow, Julius just gets bursted down, and Sagusa is going to be able to pick up 2 kills here. Probably no. This name, 2 kills over to Sagusa, but this name roams up, and they're actually going to be gaining pressure mid for RIT. This is going to be turret plates and 2 kills going to RIT for 0 kills back, forcing the roam up by the Yasuo, taking out the Rift Herald without much effect. That is a completely RIT favored trade, and they are able to pull back about 1,000 gold from that 1,500 gold leads.
Sagusa is a monster, right? He's been, it is the sign into the Vladimir. He's been harassed. He's been pushed around in this top lane for the first 12 minutes, and he's kept up really well. And in this moment, he shows up. He hits every Q. He hits the Q while Julius is EQing away. He plays the fight so well there. Like, he pretty much played that completely perfectly. And Infiltrator with the follow-up, securing 2 kills and completely eating it up, right? Western Ontario kind of overextending there, right? They could have just got the Rift Herald hit on the tower and just taken the 2 platings and walked away. But unfortunately, they lined up right in the sights of Sagusa. And now it's going to be Solus in trouble.
He's going to be ganked. He does have he had his flash up, though. He already burns it, lands the sleep onto this name, although he's going to be taken out as that cleanse gets rid of the sleep before it can really have an effect. A little bit of an overextension there from Solus, though it's not going to transition into many objectives for Ontario. They're just going to push up the lane, getting a reset onto the Yasuo. He's going to pick up his static shiv right here, though not much gained in total.
Yeah, just a little bit greedy from Solus. It looks like he was trying to push out the wave, but unfortunately he does get caught. But Sagusa in the top lane after that double kill is looking pretty good, but it looks like Slasher's actually doing a good job of keeping harass down, and it looks like he's just about to take that tower.
That is true. He did have a huge lead in the early game, and although the tower is very low, about half of that health did get chunked out by Rift Herald, and the other half of the damage was done before the 7-minute mark. So the fact that he hasn't been able to take that turret yet after that much pressure in the early game is actually very impressive by Sagusa. He's going to be able to freeze the wave quite often now with his ability to just land those Qs, land those Es to push out the wave. Just missed the cannon minion, but that's okay.
Yeah, one of the things we have to note here is for Western Ontario, they have a lot of champs that have that really strong 2-item power spikes. You have the Yasuo, you have the Lucian, and then you have the Jarvan and the Vladimir, right? So these guys are really looking for their 2-item power spikes, and they are looking close to doing it. And that is their time to just completely run away with this game. If RIT allow Western Ontario to get a fight with their 2-item power spike, it's going to go very poorly for RIT. So it's just on them to kind of wait this out, and Solus is actually getting knocked up.
He gets overextended yet again, and Kazemi actually did have a smart roam up there, but he wasn't able to get the ulti off. A failed gank in the top side for RIT, although they do get pressure. Take out the pool. Kazemi is actually going to get engaged on by Julius, although there is still an ultimate up for that Zillion as well as a... No, he burned his flash on the bot side at some point, but...
Yeah, Solus just getting caught out again to these ganks by Julius. A little unfortunate. I mean, maybe he was a little overconfident from those first few kills, but it's looking like Julius in this name, though, really doing a good job of clapping him back.
They are playing to that synergy of Yasuo and Jarvan, as he did land the knock up there. Knowing that Zoe was going to return to her position on her little teleport, First turret does go over to Slasher. Solo gold there. He's going to be able to get a little bit of gold back as he is down 2 kills on the top lane. And we are going to see a gank here as Infiltrator is putting up a little bit of pressure onto the Braum. A double bomb lands from Kazeme. Beautiful explosive cast. Knocks back the Jarvan into the team, although they aren't able to secure the kill. Sagusa is not able to land the knock-up with his ultimate.
Wait, what are they doing?
He is overextending a little bit here, although he is a very tanky Sion. He is going to take a long time to go down, and Kazemi is able to just pull out the ulti on him. Looks like Ontario is playing a little bit passive, doesn't want to burn that ulti to give back the Sion some HP. Slasher was able to teleport down right there and put up a little bit of pressure onto Kazemi, burn a little bit of health down. Looks like this is going to be a Cloud Drake over to Ontario.
Yeah, no way RT gonna contest this. Really unfortunate, kind of a sloppy play there by RIT. They did have Sagusa roam down, and unfortunately he whiffs his ult, and he's just not able to get anything. And then after that, a little bit of a miscommunication. Slasher came down and zoned off Infiltrator and Kazeme, and they were split up 2-2 and ended up getting pushed out. But luckily, they weren't taken down.
Although RIT is able to burn both the Summers out of the Lucian, I don't think they can actually win a fight unless they make some really smart plays with their CC, canceling out some of the abilities and combos that Ontario can pull off. They do have that ability to just pull out the Jarvan Yasuo Wombo combo if they can even land it onto the RIT lineup. Though they weren't able to look for anything in that fight in the bot side, and RIT is going to dedicate some pressure mid. Looks like they're going to be able to secure this turret with a little help of the Demolish from Sagusa. And RT also has priority in the bot side as a little bit of an overextension by Stella. He does have flash up though, so he is able to get away from the Cataclysm from the Jarvan. He is forced to burn the ultimate, but in all, I would say that's a worthy trade for RT. They do secure the mid turret, and although they lose the Summoner, the flash out of Stiletta, they are able to secure the turret and burn both the ulti. Not just the ulti out of Julius.
Yeah, that's huge for Stiletta because, like I said, the 2-item power spikes are starting to come out. You see the Yasuo with the Eye and the Static Shiv. This is an extremely scary spot for RIT. They really need to play safe here. Otherwise, they're going to get engaged on by Western Ontario and just get blown up. And now with Julius actually forcing the flash out of Stiletta, this is very scary for RIT.
Now, RIT is going to need to dedicate some of the pressure back to the mid lane as Ontario is forcing some of their players there. Both the bot laners roam up to the mid lane. Jarvan gets hit by a sleep. He's actually going to lose a good amount of health due to the turret right there, although the paddle star is blocked off by Blazed Nova. A little bit of an overextension. They lose health and pressure in the mid lane. They should have backed off a little bit earlier to be able to dedicate that Yasuo and maybe go for a push a little bit later. RT is going to be able to counter this play. Predator boots popped by Infiltrator. He's getting in there, although his engage is countered by the Braum Glacial Fissure. He is going to be able to fall though. Braum not burning the flash, although it was available. Nice kill back for short hop. Solus going to be able to land the sleep, although Windwall is up. He isn't going to be able to secure any sort of damage with his paddle star. There's going to be more pressure for Ontario. It looks like they're going to be able to secure this turret here if RIT is not able to. There's going to be a dive here.
Julius.
Both ultimates burned onto the back line. RIT is falling right here, although they are able to secure the Lucian back for RIT's side. Slasher is overextended right here. He does not have the flash or the stopwatch or the pool to get him out of here. He is going very low, although RIT does not have the damage that close. Sagusa is able to wait out, and Solus is a little bit overextended there, gets engaged on by the Yasuo. A lot of damage going on Solus. He's very low. Sagusa is just going solo pressure out this fight because Zeme doesn't want to roam up quite that far. He can't just be turned on. Sagusa flashing in. Little bit greedy by him, although he does force the flash by Yasuo. Solus pulling out that flash very far up there. He is probably going to fall as the Ignite burns down. No, he lives with 1 HP. Very close. RT is continuing this fight very
They're
long,
still
drawn
chasing.
out. They're chasing forever. They should just roam to the mid lane and get a turret. They can get objectives here. They can push up, get pressure in lanes. It looks like they're just going to go for the top side, though. Very long, drawn-out fight. RET does get a favorite trade right there.
My goodness, what a fight that was. Western Ontario going for the risky dive. honestly, I lost track of who was even winning that fight. It looked relatively even by the end, but really sloppy play there by both teams. So much spaghetti coming out. I mean, you saw kind of a risky dive there, wasn't working out, and then you saw Sagusa, you saw kind of chasing down this name though, but Solus out of mana for most of that, wasn't able to follow up for a lot of things, and then ends up going over the bearing pit like at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then killing this name though.
Yeah, pulling off a W flash to get that huge movement speed because Yasuo burned his flash a little bit before he went over the wall. It's able to give Solus the gap close they needed to secure that kill. Now, RIT does have almost even goal. It's still at about 1.8k advantage for Ontario, although that is not enough to make a difference at this point in the game.
Western Ontario recognized that they needed something to happen. They realized that they had their twin and power spikes, and they needed to capitalize on when they're going to be stronger than RIT's composition. But unfortunately now, because RIT was somewhat able to repel that fight, and they didn't really lose it that hard, it's going to be RIT now with a little bit of a comeback mechanic. I would still say Western Ontario does have a bigger advantage here in the team fight. And now it's going to be Sagusa coming in.
A lot of damage already coming out for RIT as they secure the kill onto the Braum, although Slasher's on the backside pulling out a ton of damage. Solus goes down into the Zillion ulti, but overall, very scrappy fight right here. Short Hop pulling out a ton of damage. Currently a 2-for-2 trade. RIT is not winning this fight as 4 of them go down. Sagusa is the last man standing as 3 live for Ontario, and they are able to pick up a triple kill onto that Lucian as he plays his mid-game pressure, and they're going to be able to secure 2 turrets here, maybe even the inhibitor turret. 30-second death timers on RIT, specifically on Solus. That was an excellent turn back for Ontario.
What is RIT doing? Why do they feel like they need to contest an Ocean Drake? It's just an Ocean Drake. You don't need that. It doesn't matter. I can't believe that they went on that. I mean, that was literally exactly what Western Ontario wanted. That Ocean Drake does not make any difference in this game whatsoever. And the fact that they tried to contest it is very, very unfortunate. You also saw there, those scrappy fights where they aren't able to play front to back, those are completely in Western Ontario's favor. Completely. They love those fights being all over the place. You have you have all of their team members just picking people off left and right. RIT just completely falls apart over a dragon that they should have not even been thinking about.
Slasher got exactly what he wanted. He got onto the backline, just pulled out all his damage, popping Solus down immediately, forcing him into the Zillion ultimate. And that was just a very well-played fight for Ontario. They were able to get what they want, and RIT should have been playing their front line a little bit farther back to peel off that Vladimir, or at least focus one person down. Yasuo wasn't able to get what he wanted. He wasn't able to get on the backline. RIT should have focused their strength on the fight and just taken out the Vladimir and focused the next person closest.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, RIT thinking the Ocean Drake is going to bail them out of this one, but,
I don't think it will. It's a 5k gold lead on Ontario. Just from turrets and farm, they aren't ahead in kills right now, and they're looking to pressure up the Baron as they ward up, getting that line of scrimmage down.
Right.
RT is just going to shove up the mid lane and force away that Baron attempt.
Western Ontario can just kind of, put so much pressure down. There's no way they should. And RT's actually looking for a fight here.
Jarvan and Slasher are separated from the fight, and they're able to pull out all the damage already. Slasher is getting into the backline, and as I said, RIT is being able to force out that Vladimir. He's already so low. Stiletta has the ultimate on him. Solus goes down in the front line, surprisingly, and they're forced to flash away. RIT is going to have to disengage, although they have a man advantage right now, but they're all so low. Ontario played that fight not in their favor, and they actually lost the trade, although they are going to be able to pressure up the Baron here as they still have the DPS and the smite up.
Yeah, really lucky there for RIT. They actually are able to recognize the pick potential there, and it's actually going to be Western Ontario trying to go for Dragon, but looks like they should be pushed off, right?
Yeah. Infiltrator is still there. He's very low on health, but RT is going... Sagusa walking up a little too far, although he does force out the Baron. While he does lose his life, I would actually say that's a good idea to walk in there. RT
I
is able to stop
don't know if they could have
Baron.
finished it. I'm not sure. I think that Kazemi could have just bombed in the pit, and then Sagusa could have just just walked a little bit around it.
It was very close, down to 2k health when they decided to turn back onto Sagusa. It was a very risky play, but in the end of the day, it would have come down to a 50-50 smite. Infiltrator was down to about 200, 300 health going into that smite war, so it would have been very risky, as he would have possibly just died and Jarvan able to secure the final smite onto the Baron. I would say, all in all, it's an even trade-ish. I would say Ontario does get in the pressure.
I think it was a very risky fight for IT to take there, but it does end up working out for them. If you do see, they did have so much more space to work with in that fight, and they were able to play a bit of a front to back. So that fight worked so much well in their favor. We're able to get the 2-for-1. So gonna relieve a little bit of the pressure and kind of roll a little bit into the late game now, getting more items on the side of RIT. But I mean, I think it's a little bit too risky there to go for that, because Western Ontario just came off of that huge fight, and they still have their power spikes, and it's a little bit of risky, right? Because for RIT, you just need to turtle, right? You just need to turtle and farm up. But it looks like they're still going to try to go for fights here.
It looked like Ontario was about to pull the trigger on a fight, and they force out this. No, they didn't force out the Sivir ultimate, but they are able to push RIT a little far back. RIT playing a little bit to a strength of just running away from the engage. They do sacrifice the Ocean Drake this time. Smart move.
They recognized this time that Ocean Drake wasn't going to win the game for them, so
they
didn't die for them.
If at first you don't succeed, just give up.
I mean, at the very least, they recognize. They finally recognize, okay, let's not int our entire team for an Ocean Drake, so a little bit of improvement there.
RIT does not benefit off the Ocean Drake that much, but at the same time, they do benefit a little bit more than Ontario. But both teams don't really benefit from it at all. As we do know, it's not really the best Drake when poke meta is out. So.
It's very situational, right? I mean, there's no situation where you're gonna die. You're gonna die when they have a stronger team fight.
RT's closing the gap onto the Yasuo, looking for a pick. Predator's burn as well as the Sivir ultimate. They are going to be able to secure this kill right there, as Yasuo is a little bit extended.
Ooh.
Brilliant stopwatch out there, although he's still going to Stiletta is separated from the team. Not very intelligent, although he groups up the team for RT, able to turn back the fight and secure the kill onto Blaze Nova. Yes, the kill goes over to Kizame. Although turned back on the fight as Lucian and Julius are on the back line. More damage coming out for Ontario as they are able to pick up multiple kills. A 2-for-3 trade. Make that a 2-for-4 trade. Excellent fight, turned back into the favor Ontario. RIT.
That was unfortunately so sloppy from RT. They got such a good pick on this name, though, overextending way too far. Infiltrator played it so well, waiting out the flash, didn't body slam early, and then they got the kill on him. But unfortunately, Stiletta completely separated from walking away from the team and just got annihilated.
He was not in the right position right there. At the same time, RIT did fall back in a way that was not able to be favored for their fight. If they all backed up towards the Raptor side, then they probably would have been able to turn the fight. Solus is putting up the pressure onto the Baron, forcing them back out. All the members are at half health. Stiletta walking up very far just to push them away from the Baron. Nice pressure for RIT. Good play by Solus just to get them away from the Baron.
See, and now is where RIT is able to get a little bit of their team fight going. Sivir did hit the 3-item power spike along with Sagusa and Solus.
There are no wards up on this Baron. Ontario isn't able to see how much health it is at right now, but RT is taking it very slowly. Both teleports coming out from the top laners. They are grouping towards this Baron. I believe RT is going back away from that. It's way too risky to give up a fight right there, especially where it would 100% favor Ontario as they are able to pull off that wombo combo in that very confined space by the Baron pit.
Yeah, they may be thinking they need to go for some sort of desperation play here for the Baron, but honestly, they just need to sit back and turtle for a bit more. They really just need to make sure they get a front-to-back team fight. Stiletta, obviously, he's on that 3-item power spike. He has the Essence Reaver, the IE, and the Rapid Fire Cannon. So he's going to be doing so much work in this team fight if they're able to play from front to back.
Now, this is actually the first team fight that we're going to be able to see Stiletta with his Infinity Edge. RT is pulling out the gauge yet again onto the
Sagusa.
flashless Yasuo. They are going to be able to pick up this kill very quickly, and Braum is going to fall yet again. Excellent sleep, lands onto the Jarvan on the side and takes out the pressure that Ontario would be able to fight back in that fight. Nice pickup right there for RIT, and they are able to get out.
Oh, but
unscathed.
Slasher!
Slasher is going to be able to get his position right here. Gets the jump onto RIT, although he isn't able to get the damage out. Excellent engage back there.
Oh, into the
what
Zoe!
a paddle star by Solus, able to burst out Slasher. And this is going to be a lot of Baron pressure for RIT as they have everybody up. A 5v3 in favor of RIT. Another paddle star lands by Solus. He's destroying the lineup right now.
So many.
He's laying so many bubbles and so many paddle stars, and this is going to be a smite fight here. Julius is looking
it's
for
gonna be 50-50.
It's going to be 50-50 as Julius is sitting in the backside. Another beautiful paddle star and kill onto Lucian. They still have the Baron.
Oh, Infiltrator's
so low. He pops out the stopwatch.
No.
A Baron steal for Julius. They are able to secure the kill onto him. A 4-kill fight advantage for RIT, but they do lose the Baron right there. It is only on the Yasuo and the Braum. That stopwatch there, right there. They missed the Baron because of that stopwatch. A little bit of a greedy play for Infiltrator.
Both these teams showing that they play solo queue, because it is looking like some NA solo queue right now. Let me be real. That whole thing started because Western Ontario just completely forgetting that RIT has Predator Gragas, Cyan ult, and Zillion speed up and Sivir ult. Just completely forget. No object permanence. Get caught out, and then it's just RIT just dismantling them. They did not know what to do. They were constantly splitting up. They were getting picked off. Solus left and right hitting these paddle stars. Really well played by him. And then Infiltrators kind of throwing away the Baron. They're kind of separated. Solus was picking off short hop, but so Infiltrator did get low on the Baron because they weren't able to take it down fast enough. Was forced to Zhonya's. And then Julius was able to just get the free smite. It ended up not being a 50-50.
It's very true. A little bit of a greedy play, as I said, for Infiltrator. There's a chance he could have just gone down there immediately by the Jarvan ultimate. He could have secured the kill, but at the same time, I think that's where you don't play the greedy play of going for your life being saved. I think that's where you just live it out and go for the smite.
That's definitely, you go for the 1 or 2 extra seconds to get the smite down for sure. But I don't know, Infiltrator just thinking he needed to live there. But I mean, if you're looking on the side of RT now, after that play, even though they don't get the Baron, which is very unfortunate, this is definitely looking in their favor now, right? They're now getting into this late game where their team comp excels. They're recognizing these picks very well. And they're starting to play the front to back. Solus is popping off. And it's looking very strong for RIT, and Western Ontario's hope is going to be this Baron right now.
I would favor the front to back fights in favor of Ontario right now, but RIT has been able to look for those picks onto the Yasuo and get those fights in their favor immediately, just shutting down the wombo combo potential of the Jarvan and the Yasuo.
You can see the wave clear from Stiletto, just 600 crits on every minion wave from one auto. It's just so insane, this champ. Like, there's no way that Western Ontario can siege. Even with the Baron, Stiletto just instantly clears every wave. There's like nothing they can do.
Welcome to patch 9.3, return of the ADCs, another engage. This is Short Hop getting caught out. This body slam misses, but at the same time, Short Hop is able to get away from the fight. Slasher is nearly dead already, pops the Zhonya's. Ontario is looking to get back into this fight. Julius is about to go down right here into his GA. A front-to-back fight for RIT. About half health on 3 of their members, but no kills on either side.
Wow, actually no kills. That was so close there from Short Hop. RIT got such a good pick on him, but unfortunately at the very last second, Infiltrator used the explosive cast on him and knocked him out of Sagusa's Q. And unfortunately, it didn't execute him. So really unlucky play there by RIT, not really missing a little bit of the synergy. But I mean, if they got Short Hop there, that fight was for sure theirs.
At the same time, we've got to highlight, if Ontario was able to pick off Stiletto in that fight, and was able to win the fight right there, there's a chance they could have ended the game. They still, I believe, had Baron on the Braum, on the Yasuo for just a few more seconds. That would have been enough to be able to secure at least the inhibitor, and they would have had a man advantage probably in a fight going into the base. So Ontario could have possibly ended the game if fight went to their favor.
Saw RIT. You saw the four of them. You saw the four of them clumped together with Slasher with the flank. But unfortunately, the rest of Western Ontario wasn't close enough. If they were there, they potentially could have gotten a huge combo into those four members of RIT. And Stiletto really is the really big factor in this game right now, right? Because if he goes down, RIT is realistically they don't have enough wave clear, right? You still have Kazeme, you still have Infiltrator, but you still have Segusa, but really Stiletto's going to be the huge wave clear in this game, right?
At the same time right now, Stiletto, he hit his 100% crit power spike. He hit his power spike with the Phantom Dancer.
Yeah, he does have the Phantom
So now he's a lot harder for a backline dive of Slasher to be able to secure a kill. And looks like he's going to be opting into a Mercurial Scepter right now as well.
At this point, I do not see any feasible way for Western Ontario to kill Solus unless RT completely messes up. Unless Stiletto is completely caught out or, RT, just completely misplaced. Look, they have the Spell Shield, they have the front to back, they have Infiltrator Disruption, and then Kazeme with his bombs and his ult and his speed ups and slowdowns. I don't see any way that Stiletto realistically gets taken down from here on out.
And we can see another dragon coming up in 15 seconds. That is the Elder Drake. We're going to see a fight happen around there very soon as teams are just getting their ward coverage.
Stiletto's going to be able to rip through the side of Western Ontario as long as he's able to stay alive. This is definitely in RIT's favor, though, at this point.
Though the dragon is started up by the looks of it for Ontario, as they're already getting damage down with the Yasuo, with the Lucian. Can't see how much health it has currently. Going down to 4K. This is going to be a dragon in favor.
This is going to be the engage.
RIT is forcing the engage. Excellent damage! Huge damage going off into the back line for RIT. They're able to secure the kill onto Slasher in just a second, but more kills going across. Huge pile up right there, and RIT is winning this fight. Stiletto is getting so much damage across. They're just going to go for the Baron or the mid lane push right now. That was an excellent engage by RIT. Beautiful flash body slam for RIT. Infiltrator was just stopping the backs. They're going for the push in the mid lane. They're going to look to secure the inhibitor and then turn onto a Baron probably right here.
Look, that was exactly how RIT should have engaged that. Western Ontario clumping together, all in the Elder Drake, and RIT just hits the go button. And they hit 3 people inside the middle of the pit. They have so much AoE. Stiletto getting so many W procs on the side. Big bubble, not going to take them out though.
If they secure the kill right there on the short run,
it looks like they're going to be going to Baron now. They should easily be uncontested, but Stiletto getting so much work done in that fight, and Kazeme getting the revive on him. Really great stuff here by RT. They're definitely using their comp's advantages at this point.
It looks like Ontario isn't just going to opt out of going to stop this Baron. No, now they are. They walked up, they realized RIT was all 5 there, and they were like, no, just no.
RIT has been down in gold nearly this entire game, and they're still down in gold, but it looks like the game has been in their favor for the past, 10 minutes, and it is looking like they want to close it out now.
Despite that being a 3-dragon Elder Drake going to Ontario, they still lost that fight as they didn't have that initial burst of damage. A lot of their members were still focusing on the dragon to try to secure it rather than going off into the fight. And due to that, they lost a huge advantage in the fight so early on, and it just became a scrappy fiesta in the Cataclysm from the Jarvan, and just ended up going in RIT's favor as Stiletto was able to get so much damage across as the fight continued going on.
Yeah, looks like RIT just going to be hanging out in the mid lane. Looks like Segusa's trying to get that top lane set up for a push. It looks, I can't see bottom lane, but it looks like, okay.
It's a slow push for
It's going to be a slow push for RIT in the bot lane, so that's going to be huge. So really great wave management here by RIT, getting all these, getting the bottom lane to slow push. They're pushing down mid lane, and they're going to be able to rotate the top and get that.
These are 2 more turrets in the top lane going to RIT, and this is actually closing the gold lead quite substantially.
Elder Dragon wore off.
Elder Dragon war off, so RIT does have more fight pressure yet again, as if they didn't already. Currently, Stiletto hasn't been able to pick up his Mercurial Scimitar quite yet. He's still staying on that Vampiric Scepter, although his Phantom Dancer is back up. All the cooldowns for RT back up. Still a flash
They
on
have
that
so
Sivir.
many minions here.
They're able to land a sleep onto the Jarvan, so they're going to have pressure onto that turret. 2 cannon minions barraging down that turret, as well as the mid lane minions are getting cleared up by Slasher. Next wave in the mid lane is about halfway down. Julius is getting his flank across, but RT is pushing it already, landing a slow onto short hop.
Oh no!
The ult lands by Sagusa as they pick up an ult onto 3. They are able to secure the inhibitor, but they are losing this fight currently as they're just being bursted down by Ontario's sheer damage in the AoE. They lose the life of their top laner and their mid laner, but RT is walking back here. They're going to be able to kite it back. I think they're out of there with the inhibitor, although they lose 2 of their lives. I would say that's worth it in general.
I mean, they do have enough to consider it worth, but it's going to be on Ontario. They don't really have any neutral objectives to get. It looks like they're not going to be able to get any turrets. They might try to go for the mid turret, but it's going to be unlikely that they get that. But a little bit of a sloppy team fight there from RIT. They were kind of all over the place. Stiletta was kind of zoned off because it was such a scrappy fight, and so he wasn't able to get that many autos in. And it's actually looking like Western Ontario is going to go for this inhibitor, and they're probably going to get it here.
Yeah. Instead of going for the Mercurial Scimitar, it looks like Stiletta is looking for that extra overshield to be absolutely unkillable in these fights. I think it's an intelligent decision.
Oh yeah, that shield is huge.
Very tanky. He's going to just be...
Overheal becomes very, very good. Overheal is very good.
I think they doubled the shield amount in the late game in the last patch or 2 patches ago or something like that, very recently.
I saw Double Lift talking about it on stream, and he was saying, Triumph, like, a lot of people like Triumph, right? Because you see the immediate effect of it, right? It's like, oh, I killed that dude. I lived with, like, 50 HP.
RT's looking for a pick right now onto Slasher
as
he's back
this is not good for Slasher.
That was a very smart call out as they saw his back through the minion wave. Huge damage coming out onto Zilean, although he does pop his ultimate before Slasher can secure that kill, and this is going to be a kill for RIT. Excellent pick. The bomb
Slasher
comes
tries his best, but Kazeme, he is able to force out the Zilean ult, but it's coming up so fast that it doesn't matter at this point. And that's a 60-second death timer. RT's going to run away with this bottom lane at this point.
They're going to go for this bottom lane inhibitor as they have 2 waves of... No, just 1 wave of super minions coming in from the top side. It's going to be excellent split push pressure.
It's going to be a 5v4.
They're going to look to get a team fight win and perhaps the game win right here as they're pressing in the bot lane. They have another minion wave coming in very soon, although they lack their Predator, they lack their Sivir ultimate to search for an engage right now. They're going to have to look for something a little bit more sneaky.
They get the free inhib. There's still 20 seconds of Slasher. There's nothing that Western Ontario can do versus this.
This is the triple inhibitor. Another Paddle Star.
They're going to go for the team fight.
They're going for the team fight. Already a bunch of damage out onto the the bot lane on Ontario. Sagusa is going down pretty low right now, but he still has plenty of health to look for the fight. Not sure if he has a Warmogs to get his health back up.
I think that's a little too greedy from RIT.
Julius is extending a little bit too far up here. Is going to be taking a lot of damage. Doesn't lose his GA, but he does lose his Sterix gauge. Super minions pushing in for the top side for RIT, but they are losing their Nexus turrets currently as the mid lane minions are pushing in. Slasher's teleporting into the base. They're going for the macro play here, split push. I don't know if RIT can actually back in time to defend this. 1 Nexus turret is going down. They're winning the fight though. Sagusa is backing right now. I'm not sure if they are able to get this. Stiletta is down. They're going to be able to secure the Elder Drake. Slasher is going to be able to end the game right here. Slasher with it. They get the triple inhib, but they don't look for that teleport. They don't see the minions pushing in, and RIT lose game 1 of this series with an overextension right there.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.